let's start just with a silly question. Who are you?
My name is Ray Moore. I'm the poet that paints. I'm originally from Macomb, Mississippi, for those of you who don't know me or know my story. And I've been living in Munich for, I don't know, maybe like 16, 17 years. And yeah, I enjoy the city.
Okay. So you're doing a lot of different things. You're producing, rapping, and like you just said, you're the poet that paints. Why aren't you the painter that rhymes? Are you more a poet than a painter, or is in the painting also basically poetry enhanced or included?
Life is poetry.
Mm.
The birds are poetry. Nature's poetry. Everything I feel like it's poetry. It's all gives you a deeper sense of meaning when you look into it, or it just gives you a basic sense of meaning because you see what it is. It's all poetry.
Okay. So speaking about seeing what it is, let's talk about perception a little bit. So the name Ray Moore, like you said, I sometimes pronounce it Ray Moore because I was like, okay, and double O.
That sounds more or less correct, but I'm from the South. We
Okay.
tend to butcher all words.
Okay, so
You never speak the words correctly. But I mean, I understand what you were saying because of the double O's. It would be Ray Moore. But I mean, I don't know. It's a slave name, so I'm not quite sure how it's properly pronounced. And really, I'm just Ray. If you just want to call me Ray, you
okay.
can do that.
So you just said it's a slave name. So for people who are just listening and don't seeing any pictures of us, how would you describe yourself? How do you think you get received, recepted? Weißt du, wie ich meine? Wie wirst du wahrgenommen? So.
I have no idea what other people think, and I don't want to try to imagine how people feel or how they perceive me. I don't really care how they perceive me. Everybody has their own perception.
Mm.
So, I mean, I am what I am. They are who they are, and it is what it is.
Okay, but by listening to you and hearing how you speak, okay, people presume that you are American.
Yes.
Yes, and you, like you said, you're from the South. So about your name, Ray Moore, was there any time that you thought about maybe picking a more, pseudonym artist name who is not attached to your real government name?
No, I had that before. I mean, before when I first started rapping, I was called Kid Lotus. And then I changed my name to M1, which meant the magical wonder, because of the beats. And yeah, somebody gave me those names. So I just used them for a while. And then after I stopped doing music, I was always just Ray. And then I got back into doing music. So why not just use my name, Ray Moore? Even though it's a name that's very, very overly saturated, the name Ray Moore, there's millions of us out there.
Yes, that's a problem that one stumbles upon if one tries to find you on the internet. There are
Yeah.
some of you, Rays, Moors.
Yeah.
So you said Kid Lotus,
Yes.
like the flower.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was a name that you choose or other people called you when you were younger and started rapping or started producing. So it was not a name that was attached to your painting and your visual art, or was it?
No. I only started doing visual art basically in 2011, I would say. I mean, well, officially calling myself an artist in 2011, let's say it like that. But I mean, the music, I came from the music, and the music led me into visual arts. Because at that time, that was a time of, I was trying to send out music demos and different things to labels inside of Germany and stuff. So I would create covers for them, So by using, bootleg copies of Photoshop, that was like the first versions of Photoshop at that time that were existed. And I was using, 3D software and all kinds of things like that, just to create different covers for, CDs and beat tapes, experimentation and stuff.
But so when did you decide to put that name Kid Lotus to the archives, not using it anymore? Was it, okay, I recognize myself as getting old, so I don't call myself Kid anymore?
No, I was still young. I was in my 20s. I was still young. So, I was still young.
That was not the reason.
Yeah, Kid Capri is still called Kid Capri. Everybody knows he's not a kid. He's just that kid, the kid,
Okay.
Or something like that. Kid
so
doesn't.
Es ist mehr metaphorisch im Englischen.
Yeah, exactly.
Kid ist nicht,
He's
bis du
that
18 Jahre alt
kid.
bist.
It's that kid Lotus, because I always loved the car Lotus, and then
The
just
color or the car?
the car Lotus and the Lotus flower, because of how it just reflected off everything,
Okay,
So the raindrops
Lotus
reflect
ist
it.
auch
It's
eine,
like,
eine Automarke, oder was
yeah,
heißt
it's an auto marker. That means, and it's the flower that repels water, and repels the negative energy, I would say. Repels things
Okay.
that,
But is water bad?
it depends on how you see it. If you don't need water,
For that flower it is bad, so it repels it.
it doesn't need to be on top of it.
Okay.
It's in the roots. I mean, it's in water. It grows in water.
Okay.
So we are water.
But there's with the lotus, that's your link to what you described before as seeing poetry and basically everything that surrounds you, but also nature and stuff like that. You wouldn't have given yourself a name of like a transformer or like something some tool that you use, that humans use in the kitchen or something like
I
that.
have no idea, man. Not so sure. It was just a rap name. I mean, it was just something that I did, and I just called myself that. That time I was in a group. It was called Underground Asylum, and basically that was the name that I would use. And I had other names for other different projects that I did as well too, that nobody knows about. Just
Okay,
random
so
names. So I mean, in the end, it all has to be registered under Ray Moore
yeah.
in some kind of form or fashion. So
But
it was
this
a pseudonym.
specific Ray Moore that is living in Munich, not the other 20 Ray Moores that you maybe find on Spotify and on the web.
Yes, and not
Okay.
the most famous Rudy Ray Moore, Dolomite.
Yeah, I found him
Dolomite.
too.
Oh,
But okay, there's the Rudy, and you're not the Rudy.
yeah.
So so you started seeing yourself as an artist in 2010 or 11, like
No, not seeing myself as an artist. I mean,
getting
well, you can-
registered as an artist by.
Let's say it like this. I mean, I was always doing something that was art related. I was doing something that was doing graphic design and stuff like that. I was doing programming. So it was always, in a way, art related, but more of a commercial, because I work for companies and stuff like that.
Okay, that was before that, but that
Yeah.
because that would have been something that I wanted to ask, because I read it in your bio that you did commercial stuff and worked as a designer, layout guy. I don't know how you
Yeah,
call it
a
in
bit of
English.
everything. I mean,
Yeah.
designer, multimedia developer,
So
But-
your approach to painting or drawing started, of course, way back before that. Maybe as a child, as a young man.
No, I would say not really. I
remember,
mean,
like the first steps that you also als du angefangen hast, dich mit bildender Kunst zu beschäftigen und zu sagen, okay, ich will etwas mit Stiften oder mit Pinseln auf Papier bringen.
no, not really so direct. I mean, it wasn't so extreme. I mean, to say in high school, it was a trend to always paint your Chucks, your high top Chuck Taylors. So of course, I paint and design my high top Chuck Taylors, basically with a text or something.
What is
I
Chuck,
think
the
Chuck
shoe?
Taylors, yeah,
Shoe?
yeah.
Okay.
So basically, I think I put Funky Fresh on it, on the shoe, Funky and Fresh on the other side. That was the thing.
You wanted to make sure that everybody recognizes that you are funky and fresh.
Yeah, that was the thing, So yeah, so I mean, I would say you can say I didn't take that as that's something I said. Oh, I'm gonna be an artist. No, that only came later. You know, because I was a fan of art, or basically seeing, going to exhibitions, visiting artists, and being around different artists. So I became a fan of artists, and I had friends of mine were artists, and I was like, it would be cool to be an artist too. But I was always doing something else, you know, which was creative, which was not, you know, they were doing paintings and drawings and stuff. And eventually I began filming the artists and interviewing the artists. You know, that was going to be my thing. I was going to be the guy who was going to be filming all the artists, going to the exhibitions, getting interviews. That was how I was going to, get into the art world, you know. Mm-hmm. And by doing that, I was interviewing an artist outside her atelier house one day, and along comes another artist. He comes and asking for an atelier. It was an American artist who was new to Munich, and he was looking for a place to paint.
What is RTA?
Atelier, sorry. Okay. His atelier, or his workplace. So he's looking for a workplace, and he stumbled upon us as we were filming. So yeah, we became friends, and then I helped him find his first exhibition in Munich through a contact that I knew, and he did not have enough artwork to display since he was newly from America. And he said, maybe you can print some stuff, you know, and, you know, some of the characters you design and things like that. And I was like, yeah, that could be cool. And maybe your girlfriend, she can just show some of her photographs. And I'm like, okay, we can take the back room. He takes the front room. So based on that, you know, I started. My girlfriend at the time gave me advice, say, no, just use this stuff. You have all these little books, all these little characters you be drawing. And I always have these doodle things in these little notebooks, just tons of them. And she said, yeah, do some of that. I said, yeah, but I can't draw. She said, yeah, you don't have to draw like everybody else. You can't draw realistic looking, but it's your thing, you know. So do it. So I did it, and then somebody bought one. Then I said, okay, officially I'm an artist.
Okay. Was it like you went to a communal station of Munich, KVR, registered yourself as an artist? Or
no, that's dumb. You're an artist, you're not an artist. You're an artist or you're not an artist. You know, either you do it or you don't do it. That's basically what it is. I mean, it's the same thing with anything. You do it or you don't do it. Some things you need some kind of accreditation, or you need some kind of skilling. I mean, I would never call myself a brain surgeon or a heart surgeon because I know how to use a knife, you know. But I mean,
it depends on the circumstances. Maybe if someone is needed as a brain surgeon,
come on,
maybe try it.
Yes.
Instead of just letting somebody die.
I mean, come on, art is the basic thing that comes out of a human's hand. I mean, we've been creating art since we've existed, right? The caveman painting.
I asked because you said before, like, okay, 2011, it was like, okay, now I'm an artist.
That's when I say I date my first pieces, when I first had somewhere where I exhibited in the context of an art gallery.
Okay. So, and the time when you interviewed other people doing art was already in Munich.
Yes, that was in Munich.
So, let's go a little bit back into the 80s or early 90s. So it wasn't like you were living in Mississippi and you maybe traveled to New York or some other cities. Wie hast du Kunst damals vorgefunden in den Mitte 80er, späten 80er? Und ich frage auch deshalb, weil
I had no understanding of what art was then. What do you mean? It was in the 80s. I was young. I was from Mississippi. Nobody knew about art or whatever. It's like life and survival.
Ja.
Art is like, no.
Aber war es schon so, weil vieles von der Kunst, die du machst, und ich kenne mich jetzt nicht so gut aus in Kunst, weißt du, deswegen ist mein Blick nicht so genau, aber von so einer Außenseiterperspektive oder von dem, was ich hier in Deutschland an US-American Painting und Drawing, Art und Styles kenne, würde ich sagen, manches davon erinnert an Basquiat, manches erinnert an Keith Haring.
Jean Dubuffet.
Ja. Schau, die kenne ich nicht.
You know, Picasso, everybody,
Picasso, ja. Aber war es für dich Ende der 80er Jahre, okay, da gibt's Basquiat, da gibt's...
I had no idea who that guy was until I started painting. Until somebody said, your stuff looks like it. I didn't know anything about art. I only had a few friends of artists, and I just started going to museums and stuff. I had no fucking clue who these people were.
Okay, and it was the
I knew everybody knew
internet, and it was like
no, but everybody it was even in Germany, in Munich at the time, because you have to look at it. Nobody really gives a fuck about art in general. You got 2% of probably the world's population that cares about art, and most people they doing the normal. I had a day job. I would go for work my 8 hours a day, go out to a bar, go out to eat, go party, or go home and go to sleep. Get up and do the same thing over and over. You know, it's not many people, if you don't grow up with art or I grew up in America. It's not so much where I'm from. It's not culture like that where people care about art. It's not like where you can see it on the internet, you know, now, okay, people may have an idea, okay, this is art. Or something. It was nothing like that. Nobody knew what art was.
Aber gab es Magazine, Zeitungen oder so, wo man...
Of course, it's Zeitungen, but how would I look at them? How did I get those? How would I get those? I mean, it was like...
You tell me?
No. There was nothing like that. It's...
Okay.
You know. So I didn't know who these people were until I started painting, you know.
Und deine Freunde damals in den USA, die mehr Kunst gemacht haben als du damals? War es mehr Graffiti? War es mehr Painting?
I was there in high school, dude. Everybody was doing nothing. I mean, you're fucking teenagers. You were doing nothing.
Perhaps you know some people that are
it's not like
spraying.
You have to. It's not like here. You stay in a city. You stay in a place where culture is supported, you know, even from government institutions and private people. Everybody supports some form of culture. There's a graffiti wall where everybody can go spray. Just nothing like that where I'm from, you know. So it's a total different world. It's like, you know, I only got introduced to art by being in Germany, and that's like many years later.
Okay,
you know, maybe,
In unserer Wahrnehmung hier in München oder so, USA, Amerika, wir stellen uns schnell vor Los Angeles, New York, aber du sagst, das sind Städte. Und du bist in rural area.
Exactly.
In der Nähe von New Orleans.
Exactly.
So, die Nähe zu New Orleans, hattest du dort schon mehr mit Musik zu tun? Gab es Musikeinfluss, der größer war als woanders in den
USA?
There's
always music. Humans need music. That's something that you always heard in your house. It's always something you listen to when you go out. It's always something you heard or participated when you went to church. It was always music. Music is always going to be there in some form or another. But as a visual art and painting, no, I didn't. There was no introduction to that at my age. You know, maybe when you're in kindergarten and stuff like that. But there was nothing with focus. Let's go to art camp or things like that. There was no workshops. Things don't exist like that there.
So was there ever a time when you thought about maybe picking up an instrument and learning an instrument?
Yeah.
Because as far as I know, you are producing without yourself using instruments.
Yes, I do use some instruments sometimes, but you know, if you know what to do with the software and know how to tune things, you can make something out of nothing. You know? Yeah. Just like on my last record, I even played a couple trombone licks on my you know. It took me a long time to hit it, and I had to tune it a bit, you know. But it's there, you know.
Okay,
no, I mean you don't have to necessarily play play music to produce. I mean, you can do a lot of other things. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, I know so many good players who I can call in if I really need something live. You know, I just like the idea of creating something from nothing by taking a sound or taking a sample or taking a loop and making something new. You know, making your own idea. No matter if you played it or someone else played it or however, it's all about the end result. You know.
But because you said like growing up you heard music everywhere, not only in church and outside, but also in your own house and at home. And what did you hear? Did you hear records of older people being played, or
there was
parts of your family that played instruments?
There was those records. There's 8 tracks, So you had 8 tracks at the time where you play a tape. So then came along cassettes and stuff like that. Then I would listen to the radio. So along when hip hop started, there was some AM radio station that you could pick up some stuff from Florida, which was I think something from BLS and Kiss Radio, Kiss FM, like DJ Red Alert, recording some of his old shows and stuff like that. That was kind of my introduction to hip hop. And then basically you had like Jam On It, had those groups like that. Then you had the Soul Sonic Force, then you had Nucleus, that was my first introduction. That was the start of hip hop, when it starts to get into that more of a like electro thing. That was the beginning. And then, people started rapping. Then came Schoolie D, and then came, all those other things that, with just the beat machine and stuff like that.
I don't know many of those, so because you said not Soul Force, but what did you say?
Soul Sonic Force, but that was
Soul
part,
Sonic
yeah.
Force, but
Yeah,
that
but
was
yeah.
And,
But I was meaning to say Nucleus. Sorry, that was Nucleus is the band.
And Schoolie D was the first guy
He was a
rapping
rapper.
that you heard, or
Yeah,
do
one
you
of the first
remember
first rappers. One of the first rappers that I heard was like Schoolie D. I'm trying to think. It was like also I had Schoolie D, but what was it was like some records that were not so popular, but I could afford, so I could buy like 2 of them. They were in the,
Nobody wants them, so you can get them too.
Yeah, it was like, okay, well, I can get some bands like that, which were, what was it? It was like, I mean, you had Roxanne, Shantae, you had all those things like that. Then, then you had KRS-One, then you had all that. UTFO, well, was the group, and yeah, it was so many different. I can't remember the first one.
But do you remember what did impress you?
Yeah, of course it did impress me. I mean, at that age, I remember I was like 14. I mean, the only thing we were poor. So I wanted something for Christmas that cost a lot more than my mom could afford, I really, really wanted this Casio sampler that had this sampler, and that was like, I really wanted that. And I did my first beats basically on that, but I never, I knew I would be making beats later, or nobody ever pushed me in that direction. But I had this Casio sampler. I remember I really, really wanted that for Christmas. That was one thing I really, really wanted. I begged a lot for that thing,
And so you got it.
Yeah, I got it. And then I made some beats and had tapes.
And you showed it to your mother, and she was like...
No, I mean, nobody got it or understood. I'm a child. It's a total different mentality there.
Yeah, but because
here.
you said you begged for it to get it, and you were poor, so was it like, did you already feel some pressure of your mother, like, okay, now we got the thing, and show us what it's about?
It's a child who wants a toy.
Yeah. Okay.
So you basically try to give your child what he wants. If he's begging, it's a child who wants a toy. Yeah. That's basically what it is for a parent. I mean, that's it.
I don't know, but maybe it's about me as a father that I would be like, okay, let me see what this is about when we spend so much money on it.
Yeah, I mean, but it was like, probably like $99 to $100. That was a lot of money. Now for you were like, that's nothing, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for one item, for one child.
Ja. Aber auch damals schon, würdest du sagen, Beats machen war dein Schwerpunkt und nicht selber reimen, rappen?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, rhyming is just kind of something that you did. You had to do, because if I don't have any other rappers, I just maybe have to rap on my own beats. So, So I did do some beats for other rappers back in the days. That you no longer hear from them. We're like, soldier sons and stuff over here, American kids over here with their parents and stuff, and they were rappers and stuff. So I did beats for a few guys like that as well. So I always definitely love making beats. I mean, I remember how I used to make the first beats by, sampling. I used to always have these CDs and stuff. So on the CD, I will always mark down from this time, this is what I want to sample, this CD, the next one, this CD. So you have a whole song based on the time and where I want to sample from on the CDs. You know.
How did you mark it down? Did you write it?
No,
down
I just
with
wrote.
a
I just
pencil?
wrote on a piece of paper. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, whatever. Sade, okay, I like this sound. Just take this from this, take this from this, and this loop from this. You know, just write it down. The
Okay.
timing. You know,
So,
then
so
I
you
would.
had whole protocols of your beats developing.
Yes, because we would go to a studio. I forgot it was in what was this? It was in Tower Bishop's Island. Thomas got it. A friend of mine knew Thomas, so Thomas kind of let us, experiment. He let us use his studio. It was a really, really big, massive thing. We didn't know how to do anything, so what we would do, we would take the stuff and he would help us sample it. He would I would tell we want this, and then he would sample it into this sampler, just Akai and shit, and then we would put it on the keys, and then. You know,
But that was in the US.
No, it was here. I only
Okay.
started that here. You know, when I came to Germany, I was young. I was only 18 when I came to Germany. So, you know.
Okay, aber wenn wir jetzt gesagt haben, die ersten Rapper und Rapperinnen, die dir einfallen, die du gehört hast damals, Ende 80er, Anfang 90er Jahre, wie hast du selbst wahrgenommen, wie sich Rappen entwickelt hat? What is your perception how rapping evolved, or could you explain to someone who never heard anybody rapping what types of different styles there are in
I mean, rap has evolved a lot. I mean, if you look at the amount of words that were used back then and exactly the topics that they were talking about, even the human consciousness has evolved from there, you know? People are able to comprehend an enormous amount of words in a short amount of time, you know, and bring out meaning from that, you know? And people are able to create that kind of work as well. So that's a big accomplishment, I would say, to humankind, you know, that
So
rap has.
you really think that people are thinking more complex nowadays than 20 years ago, 30 years ago?
I'm not sure if you say complex, but it doesn't take them so long to catch up.
Okay.
You know, I mean, they're able to process things a lot faster, I would say.
Yeah, how do you say, to steelman the other side of that argument may be that there are some, weißt du, wie Schablonen oder Frames, viele Narrative sind so geframed, dass Leute heutzutage einfach daran anschließen und sozusagen deshalb schon wissen, was wird gesprochen, weil es so oft so gesprochen wurde. Weißt du, ich meine, deswegen catchen sie schneller ab, weil sie, ja.
Okay, everybody speaks in cliches, more or less you're saying. Yeah, of course you do have a lot of that, and sometimes you don't. I mean, there's artists who don't have that.
Yeah, so some of these artists, like you told me about you listening to A$AP Rock. Can you tell us something about that? Who's A$AP Rock and what's distinctive about his lyrical ability or his lyrics in contrast to, like, let's say, somebody else?
I don't know. He's very, 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 very lyrical. He's probably read more books than anybody ever. I don't know. He comes with words like, "What the? I don't know what you're saying. Sorry, man. What? I still don't know what you're saying. But wow, he can flow. I mean, just from the, just being a rapper yourself, knowing how difficult it is to reach a level like he's at. You know, just being able to admire somebody's skill set who's at a high level, you know. So I enjoy that. Just like when people, I guess, admire the Mona Lisa, that's like wow for them, you know. So it's like admiring a piece of art.
Okay, but what's the in contrast to the more complex and lyrical and maybe even sophisticated approach that somebody like A$AP Rock has, is there also a beauty to the simple? And
No, of course. I mean, you have someone like A$AP Rock. We're gonna put it on a measurement level. Just say A$AP Rock. A$AP Rock has, let's say, just say A$AP Rock has 1,000 fans. But the other rapper who says something more simpler, he has 20,000 fans because he's more understandable or he's more relatable, you know. So that's what a lot of music does for some people. Some you can admire music as art, or you can admire music as the energy force that guides you, the energy force that leads you, the energy force that gives you hope, joy. You know, it's you can
Geborgenheit auch, oder
Yeah.
Feeling home and feeling taken by the hand instead
Genau.
of
So I mean,
fighting.
things are simple. I mean, just look, one of the most simplest rappers who, I mean, whatever, Snoop Dogg rhyme style. That's very, very simple. You know, the beginning of his stuff, and it's like awesome. Everybody loves it because it's somehow relatable, and somehow it's what people can listen to easy and digest easy. Not many people are willing to put in the work to listen to or learn to listen to someone like an Aesop Rock. You know, that's why most people don't understand some genres of music, because you get a young guy, for example, right now, and he will probably say, "Ray, make me a beat," and he will say like this, and it will be something definitely trap. And if it doesn't sound like this, more or less, and if it's a bit too different, I've had people say, your beat is like, it's nice, but it's way too different. It's like, so, I mean, they're not willing to learn how to listen to or learn how to interact with that, you know. It's a process of wanting to learn how to interact. And just like when art, for me, art was like nothing until I wanted to interact with art, and I wanted to understand what people see in art and why is art special for some people, and how can it be special to me and for me.
So it depends on if somebody wants to accept being challenged or being, weißt du, so herausgefordert.
Exactly, I would say that's it.
Bereit, die Comfort Zone zu verlassen und neues
Exactly.
Territorium zu suchen.
Yeah.
Kannst du als jemand, der damals in den 90er Jahren, da hast du noch in den USA gelebt, hast Rapmusik gehört, okay, es gab noch kein Internet, aber ich denke über Radio und Schallplatten, kannst du ich weiß nicht, ob du diese beiden Artists viel gehört hast, aber kannst du als jemand, der von dort kommt, diesen Background hast, kannst du den Unterschied zwischen Tupac und Biggie erklären?
What do you mean,
Jetzt,
Tupac and Biggie?
20, 30 Jahre später, nachdem
Yeah,
die
but that makes
tot
no
sind.
sense. I mean, I don't know where I should. I mean, they were both rappers. They were both nice rappers. Their career was short. It was too short. That was it. I mean, you know, they were both rappers. They were nice rappers, and their career was cut too short. You know, because of something people call beef or something. I don't
Okay,
know.
who was more a poet?
I have no idea.
You didn't listen to them?
I listened.
Much, or?
I listened to both of them.
Yeah.
But if you want to say the kind of writer that I am, I'm more of a Tupac kind of writer. You know, with a lot of substance. He has a lot of substance. I'm not talking about the diss tracks and all that stuff like that, where but he has a lot of substance in his records. You know, that meaning. That's why he touched the people. You know.
Okay, so that may be some one difference. Gut, gibt natürlich auch eine Menge Biggie-Fans, die auch sagen würden, er hat eine Menge Substanz gehabt, aber du sagst, Tupac war poetischer, war politischer, emotionaler.
Exactly. I mean, they both were good rappers. Everybody has to do themselves, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, there should be no competition in the way. I know hip hop started with competition and battles and stuff like that, but as I see it, hip hop is the only genre that has united so many different colors and creeds and of skin and people around the world, from the poor to the rich. Everybody can dance to a hip hop song. I mean, everybody no, but I'm saying it's a genre of music that has spread and broke boundaries. You know, I know it's a competitive thing, but hip hop needs to be embraced, and people who make hip hop needs to embrace other people who make hip hop. You know, that's what I think.
Okay, so when you speak about it, what's your take on that whole, I don't know if you want to call it controversy, but about in one sense hip hop broke boundaries and everybody can do it, but on the other hand, the whole topic about cultural appropriation, and or to ask in another way, how would you define black music? Or is it just a term that's made up by industry, or what is
No,
the
but I mean,
substance
most of
black
the music that you listen to on the radio came from people of my skin tone color, black, brown, however you want to say. But the music came from my people, my culture. So that's where it came from. So if you want to call it that, you can call it that. But it's just music. I mean, it has spread in all genres, pop, R&B. It's everything. I mean, from the blues to jazz, and then from jazz to going to pop and all of that stuff, and then to funk and stuff. So it has spread, and I think that's the universal thing that people should see or feel when they listen to music. That when they listen to hip hop, it's a music that has broke boundaries, and has, I mean, it's $1 billion industry, has fed so many people, children. I mean, you can walk down the street, you look at a guy, what he's wearing, what he's listening to. You know what I mean? It's just like that. You can be like, oh yeah, he's hip hop.
Okay, he's wearing an Eminem sweater with a portrait of Eminem on it.
Yeah,
he's listening to Snoop Dogg.
Maybe. Exactly. But I'm saying, maybe not. Maybe if you put it like that, maybe not the younger thing, because everything is a trend. Let's get a artist shirt and blah, blah, even if they don't listen to the artist. Because I mean, I would never wear a fucking Megadeth shirt, or like why? I mean, nothing against the Megadeth or whatever, but it's not my genre. I'm not representing them. I mean, it's not. I don't like that. I don't like that music. I'm not listening to that. So
yeah, but that I think that is one part of the whole discussion or discourse about cultural appropriation, that people take some items and take them on them, and doesn't it ever bother you? Yeah, you just say, okay, you wouldn't do it wearing a Metallica shirt or Megadeth shirt.
Yeah, but I mean, what's cultural appropriation? It's like this: if you do music, it's fucking music, and it's good that everybody can do your own music. I mean, I don't know who has a problem with anybody doing. Oh yeah, was something recently. Someone said some band in Switzerland got booed because they had dreadlocks and played reggae music. Me personally, I don't fucking like dreadlocks. I would not get. I mean, not for me. You can have dreadlocks, but I don't give a fuck what's on your hair. Do they make good sound? Probably did. They got booked to a concert, and then all these people booed them. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what their music is. If they came out in blackface, then that's wrong. But it just got fucking dreads. Like, dude, those are just lazy fucking people who don't want to wash their hair. I mean, just let the shit grow. I mean, bad way of saying it, but I mean, they're just fucking hippies. I would say, leave them alone. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but maybe also lazy in the kind of okay, let's just take something that is already there.
Okay,
that has a history to it.
Let's say like this. Let's just say, okay, we're gonna take it to a black and white thing, right? Would you prefer soul music, or would you prefer fucking Mozart at your party? I mean, most people gonna jam to James Brown. Mozart is gonna get not so many people jamming in that way. It's a different kind of party. It's like, I mean, what gives you groove? What gives you? Mozart doesn't give you that. Some people it gives that too, but the majority of the people, they need their rhythm. They need that soul. They need that earthiness. That's.
So that's the black.
Yeah, the soul.
Gut, es gibt ja ein weites Spektrum, wie man darauf reagiert, wenn weiße Leute Dreadlocks tragen und Reggae-Musik spielen. Es muss ja nicht direkt sein, dass du es verachtest und dass du sagst, okay, das darf nicht sein, aber findest du es nie aus deiner Perspektive schwarz und aus US-Amerika comment, wenn du hier in München bist und
No.
weiße Leute wie mich oder andere siehst, wie sie rappen, ist es nicht manchmal okay?
That's
kind
totally
of funny,
dude,
but-
you know how that makes me feel? That makes me feel so fucking good. It makes me feel so fucking good. That I mean, if it wasn't for people loving black music, you know where the fuck we would be? We would probably all be dead now. I'm just saying, if it wasn't for people, white people loving black music, we would all be probably dead.
Who we would all be
All
like-
black people.
Okay, all
You,
black.
you understand? I mean,
I
'cause
thought
it-
about like humanity would be
No, but yeah,
would
but
have vanished because of nuclear war or
No.
something like that.
dude, I find it's great when somebody can rap in another language. That's so fucking awesome. I mean, hip hop started with peace, love, unity, and having fun, but people don't do that no more. It's like get money, fuck a bitch, fuck another bitch, get money. You know, it's more or less that. So you know,
Ja, aber isn't it cruel that die Vorstellung, wie du gesagt hast, dass wenn Schwarze nicht diesen kulturellen Beitrag geleistet hätten, dann würden sie noch härter unterdrückt werden.
Could
dann
be.
würden sie vielleicht
It's-
schon getötet
I don't know.
werden.
I don't know the future. Don't quote me on that. That will happen. That could have happened. I have no idea. We don't know. But I mean, you look at if you look at mankind and see how mankind is to other human beings, it could be a possibility. It is a possibility that it could be so. You know, and everybody. I mean, it's people talk about cultural appropriation. For example, I know a couple DJs who play fucking soul music. You know, these guys, they know more about soul music than I could ever know, than
White
any
DJs.
black person could ever know, because they're not DJs in the crowd. And these people keep the music alive, you know, and keep the music going and stuff like that. And it's, you know, it's just like at the beginning of sampling. If there was no sampling, people are still sampling James Brown. People are still sampling. All those guys would have been gone. You know, it's sad. That some artists got ripped off and they didn't get their enough money for their artworks, or they didn't make it to where they should have with their creative career, because you know how humans are, sharks.
Also du sagst im Endeffekt, es ist ein bisschen normal und es
The only
liegt
kind of
auch in
culture.
der,
I mean, see, there's a few different fucking cultural appropriation points in history that were bad. Fucking Elvis. First of all, Elvis stole. That entire era of cultural appropriation, they were just stealing black people's shit. That was, and still today, I don't think anybody got restitution for those particular things. And also, the world's greatest band, Rolling Stones, same thing, you know. They would go to cafes in the South and just listen to what they're playing and take it over. You know, that's like
stealing more
That's
than
stealing,
appropriation.
you know.
More
But still,
like-
it's still, you know.
Aber du sagst, diese Sache, dass Menschen wertvoller werden durch das, was sie beitragen, ist sozusagen in Human Nature. So, weil, weißt du, es ist so ein bisschen, okay, ihr macht schöne Musik, ihr spielt gut Basketball, dann ist okay, wenn ihr leben könnt.
I don't
Das
know
ist
what
so
I don't know what
aus
white people
weißer
I don't know what white people think. You tell me. You're lighter than me.
Oh,
I
I'm
don't know.
whiter?
You're lighter
Didn't
than
know
me.
that.
I don't know. I don't know, but you're lighter than me. I don't know. But I'm just saying, man, I have no idea, you know. I don't know. Let's not talk about hypotheticals because it makes no
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
You know, you can debate all, you know. I mean, as I said before, humans are monsters and we are good.
Yeah.
We're all in anything you can imagine, you know.
Du hast viele Titel deiner Alben und viele auf deinen Bildern, viele Sprüche und ja, Parolen, Claims, Statements. Ein Sticker, den du gemacht hast, sagt be a better person than you were yesterday. And the new edition of that sticker is be a stronger person than you were yesterday. So what's the story behind the better and what's the story behind the stronger?
Well, I think everybody should try to be better. I mean, and the thing behind the stronger is, was some people thought they were or they thought that I was saying they were not good or better yesterday. They took it as in that I was attacking them. So I just made one with stronger. So you can read stronger or you can read better. So I mean, it's just something I like. I mean, I think motivating people. If I have a voice, why not use it for good or say something good with it? You know.
Hmm.
I mean, of course. I mean, of course, I'm gonna say something bad eventually in life or have. But if I'm not trying to do good, I think, yeah, it's a waste.
So that's maybe even something like a meaning of life, to try to strive for goodness, or to strive for
I don't know what's good. I mean,
optimizing your interaction with the world, or what is good about. So to ask the question, what is good? What does good mean?
I don't know what you mean. Good, good. I mean, I know what you mean, but good. Good, let's see. I mean, you have to look at it at the entire sum of humanity. We
Mm.
are creatures, or I say sometime we were born evil, and we're just always fighting to be good. Everything is a test so you can be good, because you can switch over to the dark side very, very easy. I mean, that something called anger can just break out. Then maybe somebody may kill someone because they're angry. That's how quick people can slip over to the dark side. So that's why I think if people see more often that they're trying to be good, and also you can, maybe it's for myself. If I see that I want to be a better person than I was yesterday, maybe I can motivate myself to be a better person than I was yesterday. You know, and I don't want to share that message with other people.
Mm.
If I think that could help them. It was, yeah.
So to avoid that mistake, maybe if you want to avoid mistakes, or you don't want to do them more often than it's needed, to having you learn something from it. And what does make people switch to the dark side? Or what is this dark side like? Like you said, anger, but yeah, how to switch to the dark side, in which circumstances, and how to avoid it.
Yeah, dude, I'm not a psychologist, but as we all know, I mean, humiliation, pain, anger, desperation, a lot of things can make people switch to the dark side and make people, just neglect. I mean, so many things that are, you know, can make people switch to the dark side. I don't know if there's a formula
Yeah.
to it or not.
You spoke about evil, so like the imagination or the perception that maybe people are born evil and try to
Yeah.
get better. Is there any religious belief behind it, or an anti-religious belief?
I mean, what is evil? I mean, you can say religious or anti-religious. I mean, the only way I could say it's nothing religious is if I've been living in a cave for the last years. But I mean, of course, society has taught us that evil is this and good is that. So it's based on those principles or rules that society has taught me or has instilled in me, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, but what comes from society, there are many conflicting ideas, and what's evil for some people is not evil for other people. Like you spoke before we got in here into the studio about religious people telling other people about sins and how to not to be sinful, and you could also take another stance on that, like, okay, what's sin all about? Isn't it just people trying to oppress other people by telling them not to behave in this and this way, to get, I don't know, more easily exploited or something like that?
Yeah, but I mean, in general, we have. I'm not sure if it's inherent at our birth that we are born with a moral code, or the moral code is taught to us. But me myself, I have some kind of a moral code. There's some line, that if you cross that line, you're definitely gonna feel bad about it, or
Mm.
the consequences. For example, if I would probably, I don't know, kill a person. you know you're gonna feel bad because of that, because that's yeah, it's something either by society or by inherently you're born with something that you're not supposed to hurt other people. But as we are humans, as I said, we're the only species that kill ourselves. You understand? The only species that kill ourselves, and not for food, just for, because we have a disagreement or we can't get along with each other.
I recently heard about
that's
some
why
studies where chimps are killing other chimps too, and I don't know how it is in the animal kingdom sometimes, but I know what you talked about. Humans killing each other does not seem constructive or
exactly. It's never been
useful.
It's never been. I mean, it's never been.
So another of your claims or approaches, a song title basically of yours is a revolt against yourself. So maybe that's connected to trying to be a better person or trying to handle your own mistakes or actions. What does revolting against oneself mean? How do you do it? Just brushing your teeth when you don't want to do it?
I mean, just think the opposite. If you're always gonna get the same result, and you're doing the same thing, the same result, at some point you should just revolt against yourself and change the way you're doing things, in order to achieve a different result. It's basically saying detach yourself from yourself in order to see yourself or find yourself. You look at it from an outside or objective view, more or less.
So speaking about sin, because you wanted to talk about it before, is watching porn sinful?
I have no idea, but I think watching porn for some is quite satisfying.
Okay, so it also has something good about it because it makes you enjoy life and
I say it like this.
Not committing suicide because you can watch people making love and you have some hope in humanity that
there will probably be a lot more murders, if there wasn't porn. Thank for porn. I'm glad porn exists. Because a lot of people, they have a lot of bent up anger and stress, and some guys, it's hard for them to find a woman. So they rely on themselves, and porn helps them.
Okay, that's your take on this one. Because the whole dark side of the moon, so to say, is like the porn industry and people getting trafficked and not.
Yeah, but there's always there's always a dirty side of every industry. We can talk a dirty, but what about the people who are getting paid for what they're doing as well too? That's what I'm saying. This is humans. I mean, we're always monsters. We're monsters and we're fucking angels or good people or whatever. Monsters and non-monsters. So we're everything all at the same time. That's the.
Aber diese Diskussion in Deutschland oder ich denke in den USA gibt es das auch. Ist ethischer Pornokonsum, ist ethische Pornoproduktion, ist es möglich? Wie sehr ist es möglich? Oder ist es fundamentally flawed by patriarchal society and it does not even has the chance to produce ethical porn? You know what I mean?
Really? But what is ethical porn? I have no idea. I don't know what it's like. It's like every porn has a stamp at the beginning, like a fair trade sticker or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Ethical porn.
Yeah, there's a discussion about it, but
come on, man. That's coming. Well, porn is gonna be probably in the cancel culture's radar for that, right?
Yeah, it was the last years.
Oh, really? Was it?
No. You didn't see it.
No, I mean
no. One side is how something is produced, so how the people are paid, and it's like you can also draw a line to the music industry, of course. Like, are people being exploited, and can they have an own stance on what scenes they want to be part of, what songs you want to be part of? Yeah, to draw a line. to do a comparison between porn
Yeah.
industry and music industry, but the other thing is, what does it make with the audience, with the consumers? Like you said, some lonely guy maybe watches porn, and maybe he does not do more harm than he would have done if he wasn't able to watch porn. But on the other hand, on the other side, what does porn or even bad music, sinful music, do with brains of people, and how does it manipulate? And you know what I mean? That's the other question.
We all have free will, right? We all have free will. You choose to do what you want to do. I mean, people at a certain point, you do have a choice. You can't really choose. If you try hard enough, you can really choose to do what you want to do. You control your thoughts. You control how you think. That's why I know happiness is a fucking choice. So, you know, and if you choose to be a sad or disgusting person, that's your choice. It's your choice. You know, that's why I know, that's what I'm saying. That's how I know that you can fall back easily to the dark side, because people make wrong choices sometimes, you know.
Okay, to push back, I don't know if you mean it this way, but some people don't choose to be sex slaves, for example. You know what I mean? Or getting...
I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the people who victimize them, the monsters. You know, I mean,
So
you
you
never.
don't talk about
I'm
the
not talking about the.
victims
Why would I? What do you think I am? Come on, dude. You talk about the monsters who are creating that, who are doing those crimes or all those bad things. Those are the monsters. You know,
Okay, they choose,
victims of victims.
They choose to do something
They
they could have
exactly.
just,
They chose
stood
to
away.
be a monster. They chose to I don't know, kill somebody,
Force people to do something.
force people to do that, whatever. They chose that. I mean, they could have chose something else.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Okay. Another album of yours, 2 years ago was, or even 3 years ago, All Lies Matter. Why do lies matter? To point to question what is
if
truth?
you have to look at the cover together with it. It's like all lives matter, but if you take out the V, it means all lies matter. You know, it's just a play on words, and all lies do matter. They do matter. I mean, yeah.
Lies matter in the sense that truth matters.
Exactly. Lies fucking matter too. So if somebody lying to you, it matters if he's saying that. If your doctor says, "Hey man, you have fucking cancer,"
and it's a lie.
That's a lie. That shit matters, right? You go home and you start making your will, and you're like, "Oh shit!" You may even kill yourself because you don't want to deal with the pain.
Or
and
you
then
may even enjoy life more than you would have if you if you knew that you have 50 years more.
Yeah, but most people should enjoy life because we only have a short time on Earth, very limited time. So enjoy what's in between, man.
Is it a short time?
Of course, dude. I mean, look at history. How many all those happen? If we're gonna live maximum 90 years at a good high life expectancy, most people go to 80, 76, and that's it. You know, and then we don't live long. It's very short, and we always worry about so much. I don't know. Yeah, I think we're in heaven. We just don't understand it.
So
right?
you're not like we talked about Kid Lotus. You're not a kid anymore in the precise sense of the word kid, but
I will always be my mom's child.
Okay. What I wanted to say is you have some time left. I hope you're not that old. Like you said, maybe we're getting 80 or 90 years old, so you have some decades before you. What do you want to do in life? What you can say on a microphone in a radio show?
What I want to do? Huh?
Any plans for the next 30
a 5-year, 10-year plan? You want some dumb shit like that? I'm gonna enjoy every moment I can. That's what I'm gonna do. Enjoy every moment I can. That's what everyone else should do as well.
Do you want to get to Mars?
No, not really. But it would be interesting to see if humans do get to Mars, which is why. I mean, we have a pretty nice planet here. I mean, Mars is dusty. It's like I never want to go to Burning Man. Why would I want to go to a planet
To the desert.
that's like a whole planet just like Burning Man?
Yeah, maybe it's for people that live in the city and where water is running out of the taps, so that they have to get more like in the desert or jungle style, where it's harder to survive.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't need to go to Mars. We don't need to go anywhere. We need to stay on Earth and live.
The other theory that you spoke about right before we came into this radio studio was how was mankind created? So, what's your thoughts on this one?
I'll leave it up to you Scientologists out there to figure that out. I'm not answering it.
Okay, but the whole thing about, or I asked you if you want to go to Mars. Okay, let's project like 20 years from now, maybe mankind made contact with aliens or aliens made contact with mankind. What questions to the extraterrestrial life would you try to pose, and how would you try to pose it?
Questions? I don't know.
By a painting?
You only got one
By a
question?
beat?
No, I'm quite sure they can read your thoughts. So you'll possibly just think about what you want to ask them, or what you want to say to them.
And you try not to think about something that would make them aggressive towards you. Oh, these creatures look ugly. You don't want to think that.
Well, they're different, but they're probably so beyond that. You know, I would say once you reach that stage, you know, there's just probably no ego. You know, I mean, I would say we always I think that aliens do exist, and they're us in the future and us right now, because time, they say, is not really linear. It all happens at the same time somehow, you know. So I would say that maybe I do hope that aliens exist, and I hope that they are us in the future, and that we have got to a point that we have been so disgusting in our own human bodies that we look like shriveled up raisins with big giant heads because we were so stupid. So now we had to recreate ourselves.
Yeah, but what would you like to look like?
I don't know. Let me see.
Like a little ball that is flowing around the air and can fly everywhere he wants to.
No, something maybe like a cross between a dragon and some kind of Pokemon.
Okay, so maybe
I don't know.
Maybe humans develop to that stage that they can transform into this kind of creatures.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to think about if you're saying, you have to believe that what we're doing right now, we're making this all up in our mind. What we see here, it doesn't exist until we think it exists. It's not even here. So if we were new only just consciousness, you know, you could not imagine that we will be anything. Because of being a human, you have to imagine we are at some state. We're in some state. We are in some shape or some form. You know?
I didn't understand all of that because I guess it was also about quantum physics and stuff like that.
No, but you have to believe that we're some form or something, you know? But how would you, if you are consciousness only, maybe that's what we are now. That's how I can see you. You know, you understand? Maybe I am only just a light, and you are just a light. But when we lights meet together with a particular same mind frame, we put things into the existence, like, you know.
Okay.
Like before, when you came in, your sweater was pink with dots. It now has stripes. For some reason, I saw pink with dots before. Now I see stripes.
Yeah, and somebody who looks up what drugs you use maybe could explain you why you saw something like that at this moment and something else at this moment. But okay, to reframe the claim that all lies matter, you could say all matter lies.
Yeah, you can say that because then it isn't matter 99% empty. Isn't that
I
what they
don't know.
say?
I'm not a physician or
Oh,
chemist.
can we Google that? What
Yeah,
is
I heard
the
something
mass
like
of
that
matter?
too. Okay, there
Is
there
emptiness,
Atome schwirren herum und genau.
but it's basically emptiness. But I mean, this is emptiness, even though we feel it as something solid. You understand? That's like,
Substance, yes.
yeah, that's why we could just be beings of light and only consciousness, and we just perceive this.
Okay, someday we will know, and we
Maybe
will
not.
detach ourselves of the Matrix, like Neo and Matrix, and find out we are just
Yeah.
bodies without hairs, enslaved by machines.
I see the cables.
Yeah. Okay. So another question that you how do you say post in one of your songs, Political Chatter, is what's the solution if revolution is just a remedy? So was ich dort raushöre, ist ein bisschen die Frage, wenn Macht verändert wird, so when power is changed, when power is revolted against, what's the outcome? What's filling the vacuum? Have you any plan for that, or is it just really a question, like you said?
No, it's a question, but it's also like if it's gonna be a revolution, somebody's not gonna like what this is, and somebody's gonna try to have another revolution. It's always gonna be someone not liking what the other person does in some way. You know, it's always gonna. I mean, it's just a small little band-aid, and it's gonna happen again. I mean, it's the same thing I feel about protests. You know, it's the same thing about. That's why I don't go walking, protesting. Like, has that really ever helped? Has that really ever helped? You know, if you don't have anybody in the political sense or the political arena that can move things for you, bunch of fucking people protesting, okay, we can get your opinion, okay, we can sign, you know, petitions and all that stuff. That's very good that those things exist. I'm not saying don't do it, but that's not me, and I don't think that's really how things get done, you know.
Okay, but
it's just
how did the whole
Band-Aid.
U.S. civil rights movement change things, or was it just the time for society to change, and Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King?
People got tired of it. There was people protesting in other ways too. There was people not following those rules. If it wasn't for Martin Luther King, it would have been probably bloody. You know, it would have been bloody.
Okay, so there was
look
some
at it.
other kind of
come on, think about it.
also.
Think about it. Those protests. Look at America now. There's still fucking racist. It's still old white men in power. It's that way. It's that way. You know?
So,
and if you don't have money, you basically don't have a voice. You think you have a voice, but you really don't have a voice. You know?
I'm not trying to celebrate Germany that much, but you know, ich habe ein bisschen Bedenken, wenn ich dir jetzt die kommende Frage stelle. Vielleicht sagst du, Deutschland ist toller als die USA, so wie du gerade klingst. Oder anders gefragt, du bist aus den USA nach Deutschland migriert, umgezogen, you moved here. And right now, what you said, it wouldn't sound like you want to be back in the US anytime in the future.
I'm happy being where I have friends, and I've been here for a long time, so I don't think I need to move around and be a nomad at this particular point in my life. I'm pretty much settled. Yeah, I mean, have family in America. Of course, you go back to visit and stuff like that. That's where you're from. But as far as a functioning country, I would say Germany is at the top of the list, you know,
Mm.
of things that work and things that function.
What do you mean,
You know?
social security and stuff like that?
Yes, you don't see mass
Health
crime
system.
because a lot of people have something here. In America, you have so much poverty, and
Mm.
people don't have it. So even here in the ghetto, there's nobody that needs to stand on the block and sell cracks.
Mm.
You know, there's no need for have guns to protect your things.
Mm.
You know, nobody is going down Munich snatching gold chains from rich people on the street. You know, this because they're educated and they all have something. You know, they all can provide for their family. They all have less worries than they would have if they were
Okay.
in a
So
place
the
like
risk
America.
is the risk is too high to try to steal from somebody instead of just going to the KVR or somebody and beg the government for money. You
No,
can
I'm not
ask
sure what
the
you're saying.
government.
No, that's not. You're trying to make it seem negative, because if people need social help, we're human beings, and I think humans should help other humans. Basically, that's it. It's not begging for money. It's like humans should help other humans. Money is something that you give value to, and we give value to because we believe in it. It's paper
Mm.
made from a fucking tree, processed to some kind of monetary denomination that we say, oh, this is 100. Oh yeah. Oh, we can buy this and this and this. You know, money is, I don't know, that's
Ja,
something.
mir fällt das englische Wort nicht ein, aber Geld ist ja schon Teil eines sozialen Versprechens. Weißt du, so ein soziales Konstrukt im Sinne von, okay, ich gebe dir dieses Papier und die Bank sagt, dass dieser Wert hinter diesem Papier ist. Also es ist, es ist ein Symbol für etwas, was dahinter steht. Was ich meinte mit den Leuten, die hier in Ghettos rumlaufen würden oder wie du gesagt hast, nicht rumlaufen müssen, anderen Leuten Geld oder Gold klauen. Es ist einfacher für diese Menschen, Sozialhilfe zu beantragen, weil es ist weniger Risiko. Aber
Because society is set up for them to have help from other members of society.
Okay.
You know, the system is set up to be helpful.
Okay,
Like
ich
here's,
verstehe, was du meinst,
I mean, and you also have to look at it like I don't want to get too deep into politics, but you have to look at the American education system and the German education system. When the children are here, 18 years old, either they're ready for work or they're ready to go to the university. In America, you're 18 years old, you're not ready to do shit. And if you got no money, you're not going to the university and you're not ready to have a job. You know, here you have Ausbildung and everything. The kids are ready to work by the time they reach a certain age. In America, they're not ready to work. They're just 18-year-olds who still TikToking and they don't know what the fuck is going on. And most don't have money to go. I'm just saying about this generation. Also, the generation before my generation, it was poor. You could not go to university if you did not have the money. So either, like I did, I joined the army because that was a quick way out. You know, because I know if I stay longer, you're gonna die or you're gonna go to jail.
Ja, gleich noch dahin, aber zuerst, weil du gesagt hast, viele, die hier, oder du hast gesagt, wer hier 18 ist und mit der Schule fertig ist, ist bereit zu arbeiten oder kann in den Arbeitsmarkt einsteigen. Ich weiß nicht, ob es heutzutage noch so leicht ist, weil auch Arbeitsmarkt verändert sich und
But don't they have the
taking
Ausbildung,
over.
the Ausbildung system? They have all that here, which they don't have there. You know, the entire apprentice system that they don't have in America. You can't find anyone to fix your pipes. A person will have to drive 2 hours away and charge you so much money to fix your pipes in your house. And it's like in so much because there's no people to do those kind of jobs anymore because people are not trained anymore. There's no wood shop. There's no vocational skills being taught to kids in America.
But don't you think, even in Germany, and I don't know if in the US also, it's also a reaction to people getting paid not enough, so they don't want to do these kind of jobs, when they don't even know if in 10 years these jobs will still be
but
there
the
instead
system
of
is
robots
the system
fixing
is
your
not
pipe.
the system is not set up for them to do that. That's why they don't know that these opportunities exist. You know, they don't have vocational training in American schools. You know, that's why they don't even know that there is a possibility. Only thing they know, okay, get rich, get rich, get rich. That's what you need in America. Money, money, money. But not showing you how to get money or keep money. And the easiest way to get money is everybody knows. You go take it from somebody or you sell somebody some poison. That's the quickest, easiest way to get it. Some people fall in and some people move on to do something else with their life. You know? So that's like when you're hungry, you're going to do very, very desperate things to pay for your family. You know? So it's, yeah.
So either people in Germany are zum Glück sind sie nicht hungrig genug, als dass sie
Exactly.
viele böse Sachen gegen andere Menschen machen.
No, the system is set up and they believe in the education system.
Okay.
People, it's free.
Du meinst, es werden hier mehr Perspektiven aufgezeigt und mehr education is about like, okay, we show you how you can manage your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's perspective. I'm not saying everybody needs to go to the university because it's not for everybody. That's why here, it's cool that they have an Ausbildung system. They're like, hey, maybe you're good at being I don't know, whatever Ausbildung, doing this, a mechanic or this. You pretty good at that and other people can't. So that's why it's very, I think the system is set up very, very well, you know, to let people achieve something, you know, when they can. I know, of course, like in every system, it's always the people at the top always going to get the most of the pie. But I mean, if you look at in the entirety and compare it against America, the German system works very, very well. If they had that in America, America will be on top.
Okay. Where does it not work? Or where are the limits to the German paradise?
And what you mean limits? Limits in...
Where do you get in conflict with law? Do you want to talk about it, or
yeah? What's the conflict?
Where's something
I mean,
that you would change in Germany, if you could?
I mean, it was something that would change all over. People should definitely legalize drugs. All drugs. I don't care what. Legalize them all. Because if a person wants to smoke crack, they're gonna fucking do it. You know, I don't care how much heroin was in front of me right now. I would not want to have it. You understand? You know what I mean? So people who are going to do those things.
You don't even try it?
Yeah. Why? Why? No, I'm not going to try it. No.
So you experience with heroin or people you saw that are heroin addicts.
People gonna do
abschreckend.
People gonna do drugs anyway, no matter what, and they always gonna get it. No. You understand?
Nein, ich weiß nicht, wegen zum Beispiel Zigaretten, Tabak, Werbung. War lange Jahre in Deutschland, wurde dafür gekämpft, dass keine Zigarettenmarken dürfen große Werbung machen, weil man davon ausgegangen ist, dass junge Menschen, wenn sie 12, 13 Jahre alt sind, desto mehr Werbung du siehst für etwas, desto mehr denkst du, es ist normal. Und dann wirst du es vielleicht less likely you try it instead of, okay, it's so normal.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, I don't know, but I think that's a war that the world has lost. You know?
So you should take it out of the darknet and just say, okay, if you want to destroy yourself, you can try.
That's a very, very good way to you know, cut down on population. Let them kill themselves. Just let them be lemmings. Let them be lemmings.
Yeah, so what's your perspective and hopes tied to the fact that recent German government claimed wanting to legalize weed? They did not. They haven't yet managed it. I don't know why. It's too complicated after all.
No, maybe they're trying to figure out how the rich people can get paid from it. You know, they need to try to make a system where the richer can profit from it, to have a license to sell it or grow it. Why don't they just say, free for all, do what you want, basta. You know, they trying to make it so you have a license, so that it's tax, so that it's this. And I don't know. I'm not into politics, and that's a bit over my over my limit of knowledge. I don't know what they're doing about that, but yeah, it could be very, very logistical. I mean, it could be very difficult to do. You know, if you have to coordinate a lot of things, if you have, so.
But what might be the good outcome of marijuana getting legalized? Maybe somebody like me.
I mean,
should
less
try
people
it
in
then.
jail, less people in jail, I would say, for small things like that. And maybe a lot more people who would just chill. Because when people drink fucking alcohol, they get rowdy and get rough, you know? Just imagine an Oktoberfest.
No, I remember
Only
you
weed
at your
smokers.
exhibition. Okay. Not that rowdy and rough, but yeah, alcohol is also some kind of drug that is legalized
Yes.
nowadays, and maybe
Let everybody have
weed.
it. Let everybody have it. I mean, we're all gonna die anyway. So enjoy yourself, people. If you just wanna fill yourself full of crystal meth, let all smoke till your teeth fall out, go for it. It's your life. Destroy it.
Mm.
You know?
So what hopes do you detach to artificial reality, virtual reality?
Virtual reality, really? Or
We
you
can
mean
go back to the topic of porn or drugs.
virtual reality? I mean, that could be a nice way for people to separate themselves from all the stuff if they're inside of this virtual reality world. You know, I'm not sure if I would be a fan of being in a virtual world, but who knows? Maybe we're in a virtual world now.
Mm. Okay, and someday we won't even manage to see the difference anymore, because children grow up with devices detached to their body, and
Yes, we're gonna have implants. I mean,
yeah.
everybody will be implanted with something. I mean, I think I don't know, what was it? Was a year or this year sometime, the UN conference, and they were talking about brain implants, basically so that they want to implant these devices. They're working on implanting devices into humans so that you can feel what other people are feeling or thinking of you at a particular moment. So it's gonna be
Telepathie,
no,
sozusagen,
yeah, but
Gedankenübertragung.
exactly, but through mechanical, not mechanical, but so electronic implants in your body
Ja.
somehow.
Aber es wird verändern, wie Menschen ihre Gefühle ausdrücken über heutzutage Mimik und Gestik, Körpersprache.
Somebody will control you for sure.
Nein, aber ich meine, irgendwann werden die Menschen nicht mehr ihren Körper benutzen, weißt du, ihren Gesichtsausdruck, ihre Mimik,
Yeah.
weil sie denken, hey, du kannst sowieso empfangen, was ich über dich denke, über Telepathie, so,
Yes.
deshalb muss ich mein Gesicht nicht mehr benutzen.
So that's why you think there's gonna be that one whole alien in their brain just expand. That's how we evolve.
Yeah, all the features that we use
Yeah,
nowadays
right. Yeah.
to communicate moods and feelings about other people would decrease.
Yeah, totally
Like
right.
nowadays, okay, people use emojis
Yeah.
communicating with each others, and
Yeah.
they don't even need to look at each other, or how they look at each other gets more and more similar to emojis that are showing to us. You know,
Okay,
like
yeah.
I want to show you that I'm happy, I have to look like this. So
yeah.
I try to mimic this
Yeah,
emoji
yeah.
because you see more often the emoji than real people smiling at you.
Okay. It's crazy.
I don't know.
Could be totally. It's gonna be weird. People gonna have a lot of weird facial expressions.
So the thing about some future technology that you think about also, or some even now used technology, are algorithms. You called one of your instrumental albums like the algorithm to make
The
movie
algorithm of a
landscape,
movie soundscape.
of a movie soundscape. So the
Genau.
one thing that I wanted to ask you about is, could you explain to somebody who time travels from, I don't know, the mid-90s to now, try to explain what an algorithm is, and could you linger on What's your
Okay.
detachment to movies? Do you look? Do you watch a lot of movies because some of your or many of your beats sound quite cinematic? Is that the word?
Yes, you can say that.
Movie-like.
Yeah. So I mean, I would explain to the guy from the '90s. I would say, I don't really know what an algorithm is, but it's very important. Invest money in it. Something called Google, Apple, Microsoft. Do that. Not Yahoo. Not Yahoo. You know. No, I mean I like watching movies. I wanted to become a movie director at some point in my life.
Back then, when you was doing interviews. for
Yes,
people.
that was kind of around the same time, right there. You know, I did like a seminar or basically like a semester at the New York Film Academy. So I was, small little director seminar course, and I wanted to. Yeah, I was really into movie directing and stuff like that at the time, but somehow it didn't really pan out, because of, different reasons. And my beats, people always say they sound like they should be in movies. Someone said that, many people have said, sounds like this should be in movies, sound like this should be movies. So that's why I kind of named the beats, the album that, because people think, yeah.
But many of these beats are like dark or I don't know the English word, gruselig, düster.
Yeah.
Hast du dort eine Tendenz hin?
No,
dass ja.
I like slow beats. I like beats, I like slow things. I like, very slow beats somehow like that. I always, more or less slow beats. So it always gets a bit dark. I mean, because they are slow. I mean, I like all types of music, but it tends to be darker with me somehow. Don't know.
But it's not about you watching horror movies or something like that.
No. I don't watch horror movies but yeah, I do like horror movies, but yeah.
Okay. Zwei Punkte noch, die ich besprechen würde. So die eine Sache hast du selbst vorhin schon angesprochen. Du hast gesagt, du bist zur Army als junger Mensch. Hat das etwas mit USA und Deutschland für dich zu tun? Oder was kannst du oder willst du dazu erzählen?
What do you mean? That's how I came to Germany.
Yeah,
you know?
your migration background.
Yeah,
like
that's how
they
I
used
came
say.
to Germany. Yeah. No, I came to Germany because of, I was in the army, and then I ended up in Würzburg. First, I'm gonna stay there for a week, because to get into, how they call it, just what do you say it is? It's basically orientation. They tell you what's going on and all that stuff, and then you go out to your base where you're gonna be, which was in a remote site near Tower Bischofsheim. That's where I was. And yeah, I mean, that's how I came to Germany. That's how I got a chance to travel to Europe.
Und dann gibt es an einem bestimmten Punkt die Entscheidung, okay, bleibe ich bei der Army, gehe ich back in die USA oder bleibe ich in Deutschland, weil ich denke, Deutschland hat ein cooles Ausbildungssystem.
No, I had thought I was going to stay in the army, but then I figured out that was the stupidest thing I ever done. Not really stupid, but it didn't really work for me. That's not how I want to live my life. Being always told what to do, somehow, maybe, I probably have a problem with authority or something. So I didn't want to live that way. And I thought, damn, Germany is like pretty much paradise in comparison to where I'm from. Even though it was small, I adjusted to it. I got along with the people, had a girlfriend. So everything was okay for me. So I enjoyed it,
So what was the perception by you of Germany mid-90s or beginning of the 1990s like? When you came, or end of 90s, before you came here, what you thought about Germany?
I didn't have any idea of
America?
anything about Germany. I really didn't know much about Germany at all.
You knew it was in the middle of Europe.
Yes, I mean, if you wanted to know something about something, you would have to pick up an encyclopedia and read about the country.
Before internet.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't really know much about Germany. I know it was like there was like Fraulein. You get the Frauleins in Germany.
Fräulein, yeah.
Yeah, That and what else was something people always wore hats and with feathers in them and shit like that. That was, you know. So I guess you could say the Tracht, you know, the lederhosen, the typical thing, but it was never really, yeah.
Okay, aber diese Fräulein-Sache war schon eine, wie sagt man, Repercussion, eine
No,
Erinnerung
It was
an...
just what someone had told you, you know. Say you go to Germany and somebody say a word that they've
Okay.
heard before and they just say Fraulein, whatever,
Okay.
you know. And then
But
this
what's the
is,
substance of it? That it is a woman that has not yet a husband?
no, it just means a woman.
Okay.
Nobody knew. I didn't. It was
Yeah.
just some guy who probably was in the army before, and he remembered a couple German words, and
Yeah, but it's
you know he
not
didn't.
random that he remembered this word or that this
Oh,
word
okay, yeah.
had some substance to it or some impact.
Yeah, I don't
You
know.
know? It
I
had some
don't know.
social relevance to it.
Don't know why he remembered that word and why I did now.
I don't know, meine These wäre oder meine Idee wäre, dass es tatsächlich für US-amerikanische Soldaten nach dem Zweiten Weltkrieg, dass es sozusagen eine Möglichkeit war, ja, Liebe, aber auch Sex zu haben mit deutschen Frauen, von denen viele ohne Männer waren, auch wegen dem Weltkrieg oder so.
Really,
Meinst
dude,
du nicht?
dude.
It's a big
Don't forget
leap.
there was another war too.
Yeah.
After that, I can't. That dude was definitely not from that era. So I have no idea, man. That's I don't know. That's yeah. I doubt it. Yeah.
Okay, aber war irgendwas mit Nazi-Deutschland? Hitler? Diesen Namen hattest du schon gehört?
Yeah, of
in den
course you
USA.
know that, dude. But why are we talking about this? Everybody know that. You know about.
I don't know if everybody knows
Yeah,
it.
but it's like America rebuilt. You know the Marshall Plan and all that stuff.
So that was
You know,
something that
you
in
learned it
school
in high school.
was...
Yeah, it's a
okay.
high school stuff. You know.
Okay.
But that's like, yeah, why?
But high school is, as in Germany, 10. Klasse, 11. Klasse.
Something like that, yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Nicht College,
No.
Universität.
That's just like,
Ja. Okay, aber so viel wusstest du schon über Deutschland.
yeah,
und
of course.
dann war es für dich ein Unterschied, nach Deutschland stationiert zu werden, als zum Beispiel nach Frankreich oder Italien? Oder war es für dich...
No, it was.
egal?
I mean, it was with my particular thing. I was could either be here or in Korea. So I'm kind of glad I got here.
Why?
Yeah, because in Korea you always had to fight.
South Korea.
Yes,
Yeah,
in
of
South
course.
Korea you were
They
at
didn't
the.
want to Station in Nordkorea machen.
No, you was at the DMZ. You're at the zone. I mean, I was young and I
Okay.
wanted to go to Korea because I was into electronics and hi-fi stuff. But then I'm glad I didn't go there because like you always had to fight because you at the DMZ,
Border.
demilitarized. Yeah, you were,
Okay.
that's where you at the whole time. So and it's cold and yeah, here was like perfect. I'm glad I ended up here for my time. So
Okay, und dein Grund, dann keine Lust mehr zu haben auf die Army, war eher so die ganze Kultur und so dort, dass du keine Lust hattest, angeschrien zu werden von jemandem, der über dir ist, keine Befehle.
it's just so much, man, that this didn't really fit.
Aber es war nicht so wie, du musstest in Deutschland oder von Deutschland auch kämpfen, Militäreinsatz, weil das wäre eher in Korea gewesen, meintest du?
Yes, that was constant, but then the war came,
The
Gulf War.
Irak. Okay.
And then it all changed again, you know. Then I was
Yeah.
like, oh, because before it was nothing gonna happen. I was like, okay, I could stay in the military for 20 years. you know what I mean? It's like you go this country, go this country, go this country, do
Yeah.
your little job, and that was it. Until, yeah, it was like war came.
Yeah, then
Didn't
you
change it all.
jumped
Didn't
off
change.
the wagon, or
Yeah, of course.
yeah, how was it? How was like the television show to you? Okay, now I think Bush Senior or somebody like that.
No, I mean you have to think about it. Do you want to continue because someone says you should kill another human being that you do not know? Are you willing to continue to have that on your conscience? You have to decide, you know? So I decided I don't want that on my conscience. I don't want that on my conscience. I cannot deal with it. I don't want it on my conscience enough. And I just got out, you know? So that was over.
Aber war es so leicht, während der Golfkrieg schon lief, oder war es quasi kurz vor dem Golfkrieg?
No,
Und
it
es
was
war
it, it
schon
was it was
Gerüchte,
after the
Rumors
Gulf. It was
sozusagen?
after the Gulf Creek.
Ja.
It was I got lucky that I did not go there because I was at the time the military wanted to save money, and we were in Hardheim, which was far away from the rail tracks. And they took the other unit, which was in Würzburg, which was closer to the railroad stations, and that's why that my unit did not go to war. I got out because they wanted to save money at the time.
Okay, so basically you were lucky and
Yeah.
you figured out, okay, that could have turned out
This is not gonna stop. It's gonna be another war.
some
Yeah.
else, or okay,
Exactly.
and either you would have been killed or you would have killed
And
somebody.
people came back sick with all kind of diseases. They didn't know why. You got to take
and trauma.
Yeah, you had to take experimental drugs or something, and you had to take them. Or you go to jail or whatever. I mean, like all kind of stuff like that. So I'm so glad I wasn't involved with that. It's difficult. You're telling you're gonna get ready to go die. Call your family, make a will. Who do you want to give your insurance to? Get everything in order for you to die. How do you have a burial plan? Do you have a funeral home? Who's going to bury you? You need all this, so if you die, they know where to send your body and all that stuff. That's like if you have that, it's like, shh.
No, it's getting serious.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like somebody when they say, oh shit, you got cancer. It's kind of like that feel probably like, oh shit, I'm dying quicker than I really think I should die.
And how was the steps towards getting closer to German population? Like in German hip-hop history, people speak about, okay, Stuttgart und so weiter. Viele Army Airbase hatten Discos oder Clubs. Warst du in dieser Szene auch involviert, oder war es, man hatte Ausgang abends, man durfte raus und dann ist man einfach in die Stadt mal gegangen und hat...
Yeah, but I mean, when I was in Hardheim, what we would do on the weekend, we would always go to Frankfurt, And then during that time, I had the guys I was hanging out with. They were rappers. But they were friends with Little D. Little D was it's like this house kind of disc. I don't know what you would call it. It was just basically dance music stuff. He was doing the dance music stuff at the thing, and then I would hang out with Roy Marquise and Raphael, and they were both DJs. And Roy Marquise did more like hip hop, then Raphael would go like at the clubs and do like more house, I guess, dance music type of stuff. So I was around those guys who were kind of doing music, who were into that. That's kind of how I got into it, because I was like, oh shit, I want to rap too, man. Wow, you guys on the stage rapping, Then I followed those guys hung around with them for a few years, until I learned how to rap and stuff, and then wrote some lyrics, and then.
Wie bist du nach München gekommen? Wieso dann nach München?
Yeah, because after that, I mean, it was many years past. I was looking for a job. I was a multimedia developer, programming Flash applications and stuff. So I came here looking for a job.
Und das war dieses, wo wir vorhin kurz darüber geredet haben, dein Design-Background und Layouting-Background. Hast du dort eine Ausbildung gemacht oder hast du einfach angefangen?
No, just did it,
Yeah.
I just did it. I did do something. I learned how to do Director, but that program doesn't exist anymore. And then I learned PHP at SAE, the School of Audio Engineering. I did learn that there and stuff like that. But most of the graphics and stuff like that and all the things that I do, I more or less taught myself, except for that time when I went to the SAE for those over the summer. Then I learned PHP and Director.
Und was du vorhin gesagt hast, du warst doch einmal, als du in den USA noch warst du doch einmal in New York für ein Semester und hast...
No, the semester wasn't in New York. The semester was here, and it was, a broad semester in Florence, Italy.
Okay. Cool. Letzter Punkt. Was hast du in München zu tun mit Leuten, die Musik machen, Kollaborationen und so? Die eine Sache ist, dass du bei der Express Brass Band Vocals machst. Die andere Sache ist, dass du mit Good Boys kooperiert hast, einer Bekleidungsmarke. Ich weiß nicht, was kannst du über diese Sachen erzählen oder über andere Collaborations that you do in Munich?
No, I collaborate with this one rapper. His name is Lea-Won. He's really, really sick.
You try to.
He's really, really sick. I hope that eventually the few songs that he recorded, yeah, and it's a guy who picks really, really strange beats. I would never think anyone would pick those beats, but wow, he was like, yeah, I like that shit. It's kind of crazy. So, no, I mean, I like to collaborate with people who like my stuff, mainly people I know, or somehow people who like my art. We collaborate together and do something. We do things, and try to do things. I mean, I guess collaboration makes things better, I guess, huh?
Okay. Yeah, so let's end on that note. Unless you want to say anything else at the end.
I would just like to say I wish everybody a very, very nice Monday. And I hope you're all happy. And don't forget to check me out on Instagram and buy art, not cocaine.